Alrighty, guys. So, for this week's lesson, what we're going to talk about is accepting the failures and accepting the victories. Now, I know for some of you that's probably a strange concept. What do you mean, accept the failures? I only want to have victories. Well, okay, I think that's kind of understandable, but I think that in order for us to truly recover and in order for us to truly accept ourselves, and in order for us to truly accept other people and accept the world we live in, I think it's one of the most important things you can do is to learn how to accept your failures and accept your victories. And I know for some people that's probably going to be a little hard because things can be very black and white. Things can be very good and bad. And I think for some of us, there might be the perception that there's this grand fence or this grand line in the world, and you need to be on the correct side of the line. You need to be on the correct side of the fence at all times. And I would just make the argument that something like that is going to make your time a lot harder. It's going to make your time a lot more difficult. So where do we go with this to say accept the failures and accept the victories? You say, well, what am I supposed to do with it, right? I think some of us have a perception of a victory as, people are cheering, you get the trophy, and okay. And, the failure was more along the lines of, well, the failure was more along the lines of, you came in last place. People were mad. People yelled at you. Maybe you lost your sponsorship. Maybe your girlfriend left you. Maybe you lost your job, right? I don't know. It depends on how extreme we want to take it. I think that's a very low resolution way to look at it. I think that's a perspective that was probably generated and magnified by entertainment, which isn't to say that it's not based in some truth or some reality, but I think it's just when you view the victory as, you get the trophy, people cheer, and you view the failure as your girlfriend dumps you, it's like, okay, you're not able to salvage anything from either of those situations. Let me say that again. You're not able to salvage anything from either of those situations. You're saying salvage from the victory, salvage from the failure. Yes. There's absolutely something you need to walk away with from both situations. It's not just a matter of accepting the things you want to accept because they're cute and pretty. It's a matter of you as an adult need to fully accept and fully embrace all sides of yourself and work with all sides of yourself so that all sides of yourself, all facets of yourself are all heading in the same direction and everyone's all pulling the cart or pushing the cart in the same direction. Right? So, what exactly would this look like? Well, one way to think about this, because, I think for some of us, we need frameworks on how to approach things, which is understandable, right? It's understandable that you need a framework. It's understandable you need some guidelines. It's understandable you need that. So what is the framework? How do we accept the victory? How do we accept the failure? How do we accept the good sides of ourselves? How do we accept the bad sides of ourselves? And I would say the best way to start that is to ask yourself, what am I meant to learn from each of those situations? What am I meant to learn about myself? What am I meant to learn about the world that I live in? because you can learn a lot from your victories, and you can probably learn even more from your failures. But you've got to be able to look at them both calmly and objectively and figure out what are the lessons I'm meant to learn. So what does that look like in action? Well, for your victories, you could just simply say, hey, what did I do good in that last match? What did I do good in that last competition? And how can I do that again? How can I make that better? So there we go. So there's a simple application for learning from your victories. What did I do good? How can I do that again? How can I make that better? So there we go. So that's how you learn from your victories. Now you're saying, okay, well, how am I going to learn from my failures? And you have to say, okay, what did I not do well? Why did I do that? How can I avoid it next time? And what am I going to do instead? So that's how you learn from your failures. You got to just look at it objectively and say, okay, maybe I didn't hit the shot. Maybe I didn't hit the mark. Maybe I missed the target. Let's figure out why I missed that target, and let's come up with a different strategy. Let's come up with a different plan. That's how you learn from your failures. It's just that simple. It's just that easy. Your failures are meant to teach you something. Your victories are meant to teach you something. It's not this duality of only accept the good and unaccept the bad. It's you need to accept the good and the bad because both sides have something to teach you. Both sides have something to teach you. So, just one more time, how can you learn from your victories? You can just say, okay, what did I do good? Why did I win? How can I do that again? How can I make that better? Learning from your failures. What did I do wrong? What did I do bad? How do I avoid that next time? And what am I going to do in its place? So they're both meant to teach you something. They're both meant to have you learn something about yourself. One thing about high-achieving people is that they're really only in competition with themselves. They're not in competition with anyone else. The only person they're truly trying to overcome is the version of themselves that doesn't want to get the work done, that doesn't want to put in the effort, that doesn't want to put in the hours. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to treat yourself like a piece of meat. I mean, obviously, if you need to recover, obviously, if you need to rest, you need to do all that. But I would just make an argument that, some of the most successful people of all time, they're not in competition with the opponent. They're in competition with the shitty version of themselves that doesn't want to get the work done and doesn't want to learn how to get the work done. So, if you're able to conquer the shitty version of yourself as much as you can, then you're able to truly start moving towards some wholeness and some recovery. And I truly mean that. Is you have to conquer the shitty version of yourself, which is a lesson for another day, but I would say just as a nice little preamble is just to simply say, okay, I meant to learn something from the shitty things in my life. I meant to learn something from the good things in my life. How do I learn from my victories? Figure out what I did good. Repeat what went good. How do I learn from my failures? Figure out what didn't work. Avoid what didn't work. All right, guys. Peace.